The rain hammered the tin roof of the old farmhouse like God's own judgment. But inside the cramped kitchen in rural Ohio, the real storm was just breaking. Alex's heart slammed against his ribs as Patrick's fist crashed into his jaw, the crack echoing like a shotgun blast. "You're a fucking faggot. Alex, Mom and Dad's golden boy. Ruined." Patrick's voice was a guttural roar, spit flying. His face twisted in the kind of rage that comes from staring your own fears in the mirror. Alex hit the linoleum hard, tasting blood and the sharp tang of betrayal, his big brother's shadow looming like the end of everything he thought family meant. That was 20 years ago, back when Alex was 17 and Patrick 22, the summer after high school graduation in Millersburg, Ohio, a speck of a town where cornfields stretched like accusations and church steeples pierced the sky with unspoken rules. Alex had always been the quiet one, the artist sketching sunsets in the margins of his Bible study notebook, while Patrick was the star quarterback, the one who fixed tractors before dawn and quoted Reagan like scripture. They were brothers, bound by blood and the sticky sweet scent of Mom's apple pie, Dad's calloused hands ruffling their hair after a long day in the fields. But that night, everything shattered. It started innocently enough, or as innocent as secrets get in a house with thin walls. Alex had been seeing Jamie, the lanky kid from the art club in town, stolen kisses behind the grain silo that tasted like rebellion and cherry chapstick. Jamie had soft brown eyes and a laugh that made Alex's stomach flip, the kind of boy who drew comics of superheroes saving the world from small-town boredom. They'd been careful, or so Alex thought. But Patrick had followed him one evening, curiosity turning to suspicion, and when he burst into the barn, catching Alex's hand in Jamie's hair, the world tilted. "You think you can just be like that here?" Patrick's voice had cracked then, not with anger yet, but something deeper, fear, maybe, or the dawning horror of what his little brother's truth meant for the family name. Dad was already sick with the cancer that would take him a year later, Mom clinging to her rosary like a lifeline. The Thompsons were pillars, church elders, 4-H leaders, the folks who waved American flags on the 4th and prayed for the troops. Gay? That was San Francisco shit. AIDS headlines on the evening news. Not their Alex. The beating wasn't just fists. It was a unraveling. Patrick grabbed him by the collar, slamming him against the rough-hewn beams until splinters bit into Alex's back. Each punch landed like a disownment. For Mom's tears, for Dad's legacy, for the brotherly bond Patrick had sworn to protect. "I'll kill you before I let you drag us down," he snarled. But his eyes, those blue eyes so like Alex's, were wet, wild, pleading for Alex to deny it, to laugh it off as a phase. Alex didn't fight back. He curled into himself, whispering, "I'm sorry, Pat. I didn't choose this." But the words drowned in the thunder outside and the thunder in Patrick's soul. By dawn, Alex was packed. A duffel with his sketchbooks, a wad of babysitting cash, and a Greyhound ticket to Cleveland, where an aunt, childless, chain-smoking, vaguely sympathetic, had agreed to take him in. Patrick stood in the driveway, rain-soaked flannel clinging to his broad shoulders, fists clenched at his sides. "Don't come back," he said, voice hollow. "You're dead to us." Alex nodded, the bus pulling away with a hiss that sounded like goodbye. He didn't look back, but in the rear view of his mind, Patrick's silhouette blurred into the mist, a ghost of what they'd lost. Cleveland was grit and reinvention. Aunt Rita's apartment smelled of menthols and microwave dinners, but it was a port in the storm. Alex enrolled at community college, majoring in graphic design, his hands steadying on the drafting table as he poured his pain into lines and colors. Nights were harder, dreams of fists and forbidden kisses, but he found a community at the campus LGBTQ center, rainbow flags fluttering like promises. There, he met guys who laughed at his corny jokes, shared beds without shame, taught him that love wasn't a sin but a spark. By 25, he'd transferred to Pratt in Brooklyn, New York City swallowing him whole. Skyscrapers like silver fingers, subways rumbling with 1,000 untold stories, delis slinging pastrami that tasted like freedom. New York was Alex's forge. He hustled freelance gigs, album covers for indie bands, murals for coffee shops in Williamsburg, until a spot opened at a boutique ad agency in Soho. Alexander Alex Thompson, art director, 27, with a loft in Bushwick that overlooked the L train's electric vein. He was out, proud, dating sporadically, a barista with tattoos, a dancer whose hips moved like poetry. But the past lingered, a bruise under his skin. He hadn't spoken to Patrick in a decade, not since a stiff Christmas card arrived one year, and signed, with a photo of a newborn boy, Liam. Your nephew. Alex had stared at it for hours, tracing the tiny fists, wondering if blood really was thicker than the hate that had spilled it. Life settled into a rhythm, cocktails at rooftop bars, gallery openings where champagne fizzed like flirtations, the hum of possibility. Then, at 32, on a muggy August evening in 2015, his phone buzzed with an unknown number from Ohio. He almost let it go to voicemail, but something fate, masochism made him answer. Alex? It's Pat. The voice was gravel and ghosts, older, worn like the edges of a favorite record. Silence stretched, taut as a wire. Alex's grip tightened on his beer bottle, the rooftop party fading to static. What do you want? Patrick? His tone was steel, but inside, his 17-year-old self whimpered. A ragged breath. I need you. God. Alex. I need your help. The plea hung there. Absurd. Cosmic joke. The brother who'd beaten the gay out of him or tried, now begging? Alex laughed, bitter as black coffee. Help? Like you helped me that night? With your fists. Patrick's sob cracked through the line. I was wrong. So fucking wrong. But this isn't about us. It's Liam. My boy. He's 6. And I'm dying. Alex. Cancer. Stage 4. Docs give me months. The world tilted again. The skyline spinning. Liam, the baby in the photo. Now a kid with Patrick's eyes. Alex's dimples. Dying. Secret. The words tangled, but Patrick's floodgates opened. The diagnosis last winter. Chemo that stripped him bald and hollow. A wife, Sarah, high school sweetheart, who'd walked out when the bills piled up, taking half the farm and leaving Liam with nightmares. Family? The Thompsons had scattered. Mom in a nursing home with dementia. Uncles spouting fire and brimstone at the mere whisper of Alex's name. They'd never let him go to you, Patrick whispered. You're, you know. And I'm begging, little brother. Raise him. In secret. Tell him you're a family friend. Uncle Alex from the city. Just don't let him end up like us. Broken. Alex's throat burned. Raise his nephew? The child of the man who'd shattered him? Betrayal's echo roared. But beneath it, Something softer stirred. Love. Unkillable. The kind that survives punches and years. He thought of Jamie, long gone to California, of the men who'd bandaged his heart. Humanism. New York style. Second chances wrapped in grit. "I'll think about it," he said finally, hanging up before the tears came. That night, alone in his loft, Alex pulled out the old photo, tracing their young faces. Forgiveness wasn't a light switch, it was a slow dawn. But for Liam, for the boy caught in their wreckage, maybe. Weeks blurred into a haze of what-ifs as Alex paced his loft, the city's pulse mocking his indecision. Patrick's call had ripped open scars he'd thought healed, each throb a reminder of that rain-lashed night. He dove into work, storyboards for a craft beer campaign, sketches of hop fields that bled into memories of Ohio corn, to drown the noise. Friends noticed. "You look like hell, babe," said Marco, his on-again fling, over dim sum in Chinatown. Marco was all easy charm, a photographer with olive skin and a laugh that crinkled his eyes, but Alex waved it off. How do you explain a brother's ghost? He flew to Ohio on a red-eye. The planes hum a reluctant lullaby. Millersburg hadn't changed. Same red barns sagging under ivy, the diner where Dad used to buy milkshakes after Pee Wee football. Patrick picked him up at the airport in Akron, gaunt in a flannel 2 sizes too big, his once broad frame whittled by treatments. The drive was silent, AM radio crackling with country ballads about lost love, irony's cruel soundtrack. The farmhouse loomed, paint peeling like old skin. Liam was there, a whirlwind of 6-year-old energy, tousled blonde hair, freckles like constellations, building Lego forts on the threadbare rug. "Who's that, Daddy?" he asked. Blue eyes, Patrick's eyes, curious, not wary. Patrick knelt, wincing. "This is Uncle Alex, buddy. From the big city. He's gonna help us out." Liam grinned, gap-toothed. "Do you have skyscrapers? Can I see?" Alex's chest tightened. He crouched, offering a hand. "Tons of them. And dinosaurs in the museums." The lie came easy, family friend. Not blood, but Liam's small palm in his felt like absolution's first thread. They talked that night on the porch, crickets chorusing as stars pricked the velvet sky. Patrick lit a cigarette with shaking hands, the glow illuminating hollow cheeks. "Sarah left when I told her about the cancer. Said she couldn't watch me fade. Took her savings, left me with the debt. Mom doesn't remember me half the time, and the rest of em. They'd ship Liam to foster care before admitting your kin." Alex sipped lukewarm beer, the bottle sweating in the humid air. "And you? Regrets, Pat? About me?" Patrick's exhale was smoke and shame. "Every damn day. I was scared, Alex. Scared of what you meant for me, for us. Dad was dying, Mom praying double time, and I thought beating the devil out of you would fix it. Make us normal." His voice broke. "But you're the brave one. Always were. Leaving, building something. I stayed. Married Sarah 'cause it was expected. Had Liam cause. Hell, I don't know. Duty," the confession hung, raw as an exposed nerve. Alex wanted to rage, to list the therapy sessions, the nights he'd woken screaming. Instead, he said, "Liam's innocent in this. If I take him, it's for him. Not you." Patrick nodded, tears carving tracks. "I know. And when I'm gone, tell him I loved him, that I tried. Back in New York, the logistics hit like a freight train. Social services paperwork, forging family friend affidavits with a shady lawyer in Queens, secrets layered like onion skin. Liam arrived on a crisp September morning, duffel in hand, wide-eyed at the cab's yellow gleam. "It's like a rocket," he squealed as they hurtled over the Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan's spires rising like promises. The loft transformed overnight, a twin bed wedged beside Alex's, dinosaur sheets from Target, a corner for Legos amid the canvases. Liam was a force, endless questions. Why's the subway shake like an earthquake? Sticky fingerprints on the fridge. Bedtime stories demanded in voices that escalated from whispers to roars. Alex, who'd thrived on solitude, found his days reordered. School runs to PS 132, playdates in McCarran Park where pigeons scattered like confetti. Exhaustion warred with wonder. This tiny human, with his unfiltered joy, was mending cracks Alex hadn't known were there. But the past shadowed them. Nightmares plagued Liam. Dreams of Daddy's hospital bed, Mommy's vanishing act, waking him in sobs that echoed Alex's own buried grief. "Will you leave too?" he'd whisper, clutching Alex's shirt. "Never, kiddo," Alex promised, rocking him until dawn, his heart a reluctant bloom. Enter Ryan. It was inevitable, New York being the matchmaker it was. Ryan O'Malley, 34, pediatric nurse at Mount Sinai, with a mop of red curls, freckles dusting his nose like cinnamon, and a smile that disarmed faster than a double espresso. They met at a PDA coffee clatch, Alex fumbling with a styrofoam cup, Liam finger-painting beside a gaggle of kids. Ryan, volunteering for story hour, caught Alex's eye across the room. Broad shoulders under a faded Yankees tee, laugh lines framing green eyes that sparkled with quiet kindness. "You're new," Ryan said later, as Liam chased a soccer ball with abandon. "Uncle Alex, right?" Liam's mentioned the skyscraper stories. Alex flushed, the American dream of casual charm kicking in. "Guilty. He's got me on a narrative treadmill." "You, Ryan. Nurse by day, amateur banjo player by night." "My niece is in his class, total terror." Their banter flowed easy, laced with that East Coast wit, jabs at traffic, shared gripes over overpriced oat milk lattes. By the coffee refill, numbers were exchanged. In case Liam needs a checkup, Ryan winked, and Alex felt a stir, warm and dangerous, like the first sip of whiskey after a long dry spell. Dates followed, tentative as spring thaw. A walk in Prospect Park, leaves crunching underfoot, Liam between them on a tandem bike, giggling as squirrels begged for pretzel crumbs. Ryan listened when Alex skirted the edges of truth. Family complications back home, his hand brushing Alex's in reassurance. No pressure, just presence. He was steady, the kind of man who'd bandage a scraped knee and crack a dad joke to stem tears. Irish Catholic roots showed in his lapsed faith, the way he'd cross himself at ambulances but champion gay marriage at family dinners. "Love's love," he'd say simply, and Alex believed him. But secrets festered. Patrick called weekly, voice fainter each time, updates on chemo rounds and farm auctions to pay bills. "How's he doing?" he'd rasp, and Alex would relay triumphs. First lost tooth, a finger-painted masterpiece taped to the fridge, omitting the hard parts, the way Liam asked for Daddy in the quiet hours. Guilt gnawed. Was this mercy or manipulation? raising a child in the half-light of lies, all to shield him from small-town scorn. The first crack came at Halloween. Liam, decked as a pint-sized Spider-Man, trick-or-treated Bushwick stoops, his mask askew, candy hall bulging. Ryan tagged along, a reluctant Frankenstein's monster in thrift store green. Back at the loft, sugar high crashing into yawns, Liam tugged Alex's sleeve. "Uncle Alex? Why don't I have a mommy like Tommy does? Or a daddy here?" The room stilled, Ryan's eyes flicking to Alex, curious but kind. Alex knelt, throat tight. "Everyone's family looks different, champ. Like puzzles. Yours has me, and soon. Adventures." It was dodgeball truth. But Liam nodded, consoled by chocolate, drifting off to dreams. Later, on the fire escape, city lights twinkling like fallen stars, Ryan lit a joint contraband in his nurse's coat and passed it. "You're good with him, Alex. But that question, it's gonna keep coming." Alex exhaled smoke, watching it curl into the night. "Yeah. Complications." Ryan's hand found his warm anchor. "We all got 'em. Mine's a brother in Boston who still thinks I'm going to hell for loving men. Calls every Easter, drunk on green beer and Bible verses." He squeezed. "Talk when you're ready." The kiss that followed was inevitable, soft under the autumn chill, tasting of candy corn and courage. Ryan's lips were gentle, exploratory, his fingers threading Alex's hair as if memorizing. It wasn't fireworks. It was hearth warmth against the cold seep of old wounds. They tumbled inside, careful not to wake Liam, bodies aligning in the dim loft light, Ryan's freckled skin glowing like a map Alex longed to chart. Whispers and gasps, the creak of the bed a secret symphony. For the first time in years, Alex felt seen, not as the broken boy from Ohio, but as whole. Yet dawn brought reality. Patrick's next call was a whisper. "It's bad, Alex. Hospital. Come if you can." The flight was a blur. Liam farmed out to a sitter, Ryan, stepping up with quiet grace. Millersburg General was a sterile purgatory, beeps and bleach assaulting the senses. Patrick lay propped in bed, tubes snaking like accusations, skin translucent as onion skin. "You came," he murmured, eyes lighting on Alex like a lifeline. "For him," Alex said, "but softer. And maybe a little for us." They talked then, haltingly, apologies spilling like rain, regrets pooling. Patrick confessed his own buried truths. The college fling with a roommate, drowned in denial and duty, the envy of Alex's escape. "I hated you for being free," he admitted. "But mostly, I hated myself." Tears came, mutual, cathartic. "Forgive me," Patrick begged, hand outstretched. Alex took it, calluses rough as memory. "Working on it. For Liam. For you." Back in New York, the idyll deepened. Ryan moved in bits at a time, a banjo in the corner, scrubs in the hamper, his presence a bomb. They built routines. Sunday brunches at Smorgasburg, Liam's laughter mingling with their stolen glances. Romance bloomed in margins, notes in lunchboxes, midnight dances to Coltrane in the kitchen, Ryan's head on Alex's chest as the city hummed below. Sex was sacrament. Slow explorations, Ryan's moans a poetry of trust. Bodies entwined like vines reclaiming ruin. But conflict brewed, inevitable as winter. Thanksgiving loomed, Patrick's decline accelerating. He wanted Liam there, one last harvest moon. Alex agonized, expose the boy to the end, or shield him. Ryan advocated truth. Kids are resilient. Lies break slower but surer. The decision cracked the facade. En route to Ohio, Liam chattered about turkey and pie, oblivious. At the farmhouse, aunts and uncles gathered, Thompsons in plaid and pearls, whispers rippling like wind through wheat. "Who's the city fella with Pat's boy?" one murmured, eyes narrowing on Alex. Patrick, frail in his recliner, pulled Liam close. "This is family," he announced, voice steady for the first time. Then, to Alex, "Tell him," heart pounding. Alex knelt by his nephew. "Liam, I'm not just Uncle Alex. I'm your dad's brother. Your real uncle." The room gasped, forks clattering, a chair scraping. Liam blinked. "Like blood brother?" "Yeah, kiddo. And I love you like that." Chaos erupted. Uncle Earl's rant about abominations. Mom's briefly lucid tears. Accusations flying like buckshot. "You poisoned him, Patrick, letting that lifestyle near our blood." Patrick roared back, for stand rattling. "He's my son, and Alex's family, the best of us." Alex shielded Liam, ushering him out to the porch, rain pattering like old echoes. Inside, Patrick collapsed, ambulance lights flashing blue redemption. At the hospital, as monitors wailed, he gripped Alex's hand. "Thank you for everything." His eyes closed at 11:47 p.m., the world dimming. Grief hit like a nor'easter. Liam wailed, a keening that rent the night, Alex holding him as if to fuse their fractures. Back in New York, funerals were dodged, cremation, ashes scattered in the cornfields by a lone Patrick proxy. The Thompsons sent a letter. Dissownment renewed, Liam's custody a mistake to be rectified. Lawyers circled, but Alex's New York proofs, affidavits, Liam's thriving school reports held the line. Betrayal's sting resurfaced in the aftermath. Ryan, ever the rock, found Alex one dawn on the fire escape, whiskey bottle half empty. "Why didn't you tell me sooner about Patrick?" The beating, Alex's voice cracked. "Shame. Fear you'd see the broken parts." Ryan knelt, fierce. "I see you, Alex. All of you. And I love the mosaic." But doubt festered. A court hearing loomed, family versus the deviant uncle, threatening to rip Liam away. Sleepless nights bled into arguments. Ryan pushing for openness, Alex retreating into walls. "What if they win? What if I lose him like I lost everything?" "You won't," Ryan vowed. But tension simmered, intimacy fraying like old denim. The climax crashed in December, snow blanketing Brooklyn in hush. A custody evaluator visited the loft, clipped questions, probing eyes. Liam, drawing at the table, piped up, "Uncle Alex is my hero. He makes pancakes with faces and tells stories about stars. Daddy said he's the bravest." The words hung, pure as fresh powder. But that night, Ryan confessed his own fracture. A job offer in Boston, near his brother, a chance to mend his side. "Come with me? Start fresh." Alex froze. The pull of roots, Ohio's ghost, New York's hard-won home, tearing him asunder. Liam's school, my work. And you, God, you. The fight was thunderous. Words like lightning, accusations of selfishness, fears of abandonment. "You're just like Patrick, hiding behind duty," Ryan yelled, storming out into the flurry. Alone, Alex crumpled, Liam's small arms wrapping around him. "Don't cry, Uncle. Heroes fix things." Dawn brought clarity, humanistic as a hymn. Alex called Ryan, voice raw, "I love you. But I can't leave him." "Stay, build with us." Ryan returned, snow-dusted, eyes red-rimmed. "Yeah. We build." The hearing was anticlimax. Evaluators' report glowing. Judges' gavel sealing Liam's forever home. Thompson slunk away, tails between legs, their prejudice a fading echo. Spring unfurled, cherry blossoms painting the park pink. Alex and Ryan married in a quiet ceremony, City Hall. Liam ring-bearer in a tiny suit, vows exchanged under a rainbow flag. In sickness and health, in secrets and truths, Ryan murmured, ring sliding home. Years layered, Liam's growth spurts. Awkward teen crushes Alex navigated with wry advice. Ryan's banjo lessons turning the loft into a jam session. Alex's agency promotions funding a house in Ditmas Park. Backyard barbecues where laughter drowned old rains. One evening, Liam, now 16, lanky and thoughtful, found the faded photo in Alex's drawer. "You and Dad. What happened?" Truth, full-flowered. The beating, the begging, the bridge of forgiveness. Liam listened, then hugged fierce. "You saved me. Both of you." Humanism's quiet victory. Not perfection, but persistence. Love, battered but unbowed. Weaving brothers, strangers, family into tapestry. In America's vast heartland to horizon sprawl, they thrived, not despite the scars, but because of them.